We're going to talk much more about that entire process. Joining me now live is Brian Taberski, Assistant Director of Campus Ministry at Seattle U, also an Assistant Professor of Theology and Religious Studies. Brian, thanks so much for being with us.
Wonderful to be with you.
So as we just showed our viewers, right now the Pope is lying in state at the Vatican, but walk us through what comes next.
In these next few days, the cardinals will gather for what's called General Congregation, and that's where they're really starting to get to know one another. Most of them don't know one another at all. And so outside of beginning to kind of acclimate to this whole process, which will be new for many of them, they're also getting reports about what the state of the church is. They'll be engaging in conversation, setting up some expectations for what the next few weeks will be. On Friday, Pope Francis's casket will be closed. On Saturday, the church will celebrate his funeral. And then from there, per church law, the conclave must begin 15 to 20 days after the death of the Pope. So we're looking at the earliest May 6th and the latest May 12th.
Let's talk about the conclave. A lot of people have heard that word. There's even a movie now by that title. What exactly happens during that process, and exactly how long could that take?
Sure. The word conclave comes from the Latin conclave, which literally means with key. And so they're put together in a room with a key to make sure that the work at hand unfolds. They'll begin, again, kind of introducing themselves. There's a part of the conclave after they're sealed, and they really then live in a pretty tight circuit. They go from the Sistine Chapel to the Casa Santa Marta, which was built by John Paul II to house cardinals for things like the conclave. And over the course of the conclave, they'll begin introducing themselves and really begin a process of discernment about what the church needs and where the church is in the life of the church, and what and who among them seems to be the person that the Holy Spirit is kind of pointing to as being the one to help us get through it.
It's such an interesting process. We know a little bit about it, but why is it so shrouded in secrecy?
Yeah, it's a secrecy that, I think the word secrecy can kind of elicit like, ooh, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And it's really about, I think, giving the cardinals a level of privacy. This is a big decision, right? This is 130 people coming together to make a decision about who among them will lead the world's over 1.75 billion Catholics who will have global impact in the world and whatnot. And, part of it is just to kind of remove distraction. Making a weighty decision sometimes really needs our attention. And this is really about kind of giving the cardinals an opportunity to really prayerfully enter into this and really consider what the call for the moment is, and to kind of trust that amongst them, the answer will emerge rather than being so distracted by what other people think.
As you mentioned, such a weighty decision. Do you expect a more progressive or traditionalist pick? Do you have any idea who the front runners might be?
Sure. Well, I can promise you he'll be Roman Catholic. That's about the extent of what I can promise you. I think that when it comes to those types of labels, they have a certain kind of interpretation in our American context that doesn't always resonate with the rest of the world. And so I think that, there might be attributes that people will label as one thing and attributes that others will label another. But that whoever is selected will not be selected haphazardly, both by way of the deliberation of the cardinals, but then from a kind of theological point of view, we believe that the Holy Spirit is present to us and the Holy Spirit is among them. And the cardinals take that very seriously.
Pope Francis, famously from Argentina and known as the People's Pope, and for the first time, more than half of those eligible to vote are from outside Europe. Do you think there's likely someone from a part of the world that we haven't seen before, maybe even a person of color? Your reaction?
Yeah, I think that was one of the greatest gifts Francis gave us, and it was by design to really kind of have the College of Cardinals echo the more global reality of the church. And so as we move into this conclave, one of the realities that I find kind of edifying or beautiful is that what we know for sure is that it's not a guarantee that it will be somebody simply from the European continent, but that per Francis's design, the global church will gather to have a global lot to draw from, and so that whoever emerges really as the person the Holy Spirit's moved us to.
Well, Brian Taberski, it is so great to talk to you. It's so interesting. I hope you'll join us again sometime, and we'll all be watching, the entire world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.